Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to those of you who are new. My name is Tori and this is At Home with Tori. Today's video is going to be a budget recap for the month of June. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know that we do paycheck to paycheck budgeting. And that means that my husband gets paid bi-weekly. And so instead of doing a monthly budget or a weekly budget, we do it bi-weekly. So in this video today, I'm going to go over what we spent in the month of June, where our money went. I'm not super happy about it, but what's new? It's all a journey, and I try to be as real with you guys as possible, and I will show you guys kind of where our money went for the month. All right, so this is going to be my expense tracker for my checking account. If you are new to my channel, I wanted to let you know that I use the Budget by Paycheck workbook from The Budget Mom, which I will leave her link in the description box below so you can check her out. And this notebook is really great for the kind of budgeting that I do. I love her method. She uses what's called a highlighter method. And if you look at some of my older budgets, you can see that I started that way. But I have the gel highlighters instead of like the regular highlighters. So I really didn't like the way that those were working out on this notebook. So I switched to my pens whenever I got the Parku pens. They come in so many different colors. I think there's 14 different colors. And so it makes it really easy to do the highlighter method, but with pen instead of a highlighter. So that's what I do. So you can see that every category has its own color, and so it's really easy to glance at this and see that food is blue. I can see how much food we used. Utilities is orange. I can see where our utilities fell in each in the month. So what I do is I will write our starting balance, which is what's left over in my checking account from the previous month at the end of the previous month, and that's what starts here. And then I start writing down our expenses. So I always keep an ending balance over here on the right, and that just helps me not overdraft in our checking account because we still do have quite a bit of checking account expenses. It's more than what I would like, but it is better than the last couple of months. So if you compare this to the last couple months that I've done, this actually looks a little bit better because I've used up an entire expense tracker for my cash spending now. So slowly but surely, guys, we'll get there. So what the Budget Mom does and what I try to do is that at the end of my page, I will go ahead and add up all of the expenses for the category so that I have a running total up here. So when I get ready to do my end of the month, it's much easier just to add up these totals. You can see that on there, these totals together, and have my complete total for this page. One thing that I was having a hard time doing was figuring out how it worked as far as having two separate accounts that you're trying to balance, but I think I figured it out this month, and I'll try to share it with you as best as I understand it. So the page that we're going to look at right now is this where did my money go? So I'm going to zoom you guys in just a little bit. This is the best way that I know how to explain it to you guys. So you write the month, the year, you write your starting balance, which is going to be your balance from all of your accounts. So the way that I understood it is it's my starting balance from my checking account plus my starting balance from my cash envelopes. So that's going to be my total starting balance, and that's $1737.13, which is kind of hard to see because I messed up a little, but I was doing this in much darker lighting last night and I couldn't see my mistake. But that says $1737.13. Then you take your incoming income, is how she puts it. So any income that you receive for the month of June, you add that to your starting balance. So that will give you your total monthly income. So for us, that number is $6,277.12. So that's where you start with this page, and then you go through your monthly budget categories that you get from your expense tracker, and you write all of those categories down. So you write down every single category from your checking account expenses and your cash savings expenses, which is what I've done right here. Then you write your monthly budget, and then you write how much you actually spent that month. So for us, I've already written down the amounts so that I can do the math quickly for you guys. If you guys ever have any questions about our spending, feel free to email me or to write something in the comments below, and I'll explain as best as I can for you guys. So what you do here is you take your monthly budget minus your monthly expense and you write the difference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the positive difference in green and the negative in red, and then we're going to see what percent of our income that category took up. So we're going to do $600 is our monthly budget minus 905.08. Guys, that was a lot of money that we spent on food this month. That's like, I'm really embarrassed by this. I told my husband this is just ridiculous. We should not be spending that much money on food. And that's totally my fault too, because I had a really bad month this month and I did not meal plan and we ate out a lot. So a lot of that is on me. So do you guys get like that in the summer? Because I don't know what it is, but I'm just like so hot. I don't want to be in the kitchen and I haven't prepared well enough to be able to just throw something in there. Okay, so this is a positive 753. Okay, our debt is going to be 340. So this, even though it's going to look like a negative number, is actually a good thing because that means that I was able to put $70 extra towards our debt this month. Gas looks ridiculous too because, like I told you, I didn't pay it on the right time this month, so it's going to show up weird in July too. But that's okay. 161.99. This is another category, guys, where I need to figure out what we're spending it on and how to fix it, because $393, guys, on miscellaneous things. And I can tell you right now, a lot of it is Amazon. And it's not necessarily things we don't need, but sometimes we'll just add things to the cart and those will be things that we don't need. And so it gets really high really fast, and we've got to get that spending under control. Our vacation leftover, we had $500 to spend and we only spent $175.42. We did really good on our vacation spending. We spent a lot less than what we had planned to spend. My subscriptions looks a little off too, but that is because I plan for $6 to come out a month. And that's just our Spotify and Hulu account. But this month we had our Sam's membership come out, so that ended up being a little bit off there, but it's okay. I didn't end up moving the money over, so I'm still going to have to do that from my sinking funds. Okay, so school is an unbudgeted amount, and that was because I was not planning on buying school supplies this month. I was going to wait until a little bit later, closer to school time, but it came up and I thought I would go ahead and get it in case there were more things that I needed to get. So that's an unbudgeted amount. And our car was also something that I ended up not having enough for with our sinking funds. So I think I had a leftover of like $50 in our sinking funds, but it wasn't enough to cover the registration that I had to do. So I had to swipe my debit card, and I still need to move that money back into my checking account as well. But I only had the $50. So it's still like a negative $30 is what that actually is. Personal is going to be $5 positive. Oh no, negative. Sorry. $5 negative. But again, I'm pretty sure, like, I didn't overspend on this one. This was something that I have. This is like that I had extra, because once my cash is gone, it's gone, and this is a cash envelope. So I know that I didn't actually spend more than what I had. This is going to be a positive $15. Okay, so to explain this is the money that you have left over in your checking account and your cash envelopes. It's the same thing as your starting balance up here, but you have to count it in order to come out correctly. The way to balance this is to take your income minus your spending, and they should equal 0. I was actually able to balance this month, and that made me super happy. But it's very alarming when I look at these two numbers and see how much we're negative, because really we don't normally make this amount. This has to do with my husband's grants and like some extra income that we got this month that we won't get every single month. So it's really frustrating when I look at these numbers, because I'm like, we don't need to be spending almost $1,000 a month in food, and we don't need to be spending almost $500 for miscellaneous things. So I'm trying to look at this and figure out how I can adjust our spending and how I can create some new envelopes so not everything is going into a miscellaneous category, because that just really bugs me so much. So let's see how we can get the percent of income on here. Okay, so when we look, it tells you, one thing that's kind of nice about this notebook is down here it tells you that the percent of income equals your monthly spent total, so this divided by your total monthly income, that right there. Okay, so we're going to take 905.08 divided by 62.7712, and we get, that's going to be, is that right? Yeah, I guess it is. 14%. Okay, and then 1742.47 divided by 62.7712. It's going to be 28%. So that's good. That's our utilities, to know that that's, I don't know if you guys follow Dave Ramsey either, but he will talk about percentages and how much of a percentage you should be spending on certain categories. And I've never been able to actually follow that. Our spending has never lined up with that. And the big one is housing, honestly. Our housing never falls under the right percentage, according to Dave Ramsey. But I don't know many people that does, so that wasn't enough to actually create a percentage. But yeah, do you guys follow Dave Ramsey and try to stay in those percentage guidelines that he talks about? Because we've just never been great at that. 175.42. This one probably won't equal anything either. 3%. That one's not going to equal anything. Yeah, that's not a number, so 0. That one's probably going to be the same. Whoops. 65.85 divided by 1%. 1%. 86.70 divided by 67. Nope, 62. 1%. So one thing that you need to keep in mind whenever you're doing this is that this may not add up to 100, but if you include this July start balance, that will get you very close to 100% of your income. So that was something that I was struggling with in the beginning too, is that I wasn't counting my start balance for the next month, which is why I couldn't ever balance. So now that I know to do that, I can end up a lot closer. And of course it's going to be 98% because these do equal a little bit, but probably if you add up all of those, that would equal 2%. But because we're not counting those, it only equals 98%. But hey, that works for me. So I know that I balanced. I'm super happy with that. When I looked at my cash, what I actually had left in my envelopes versus what it said I had, that equaled. When I looked at my bank account versus what it said I had in my bank account, that equaled. I was very, very happy this month. And even though we had some really harsh spending going on, at least I balanced. For someone who has a type A personality, that is really, really important to me. I'm gonna also try to show you guys this page, which is the Where Did My Money Go monthly spending comparison. So this is gonna be comparing last month, which was May, to this month, which is June. So you can see already how big the difference is between these two numbers, and that again is because my husband got some grants for school. So this is including his, I think he got $4,000 in grants this month, and then this is also including like a $1,400 grant that he got. Keep that in mind. We really don't make this much money, so our next few months should look a little bit different. This just shows you basically the same thing as the last page, and you just plug in these categories over here, and then you take the categories from the month before and put them over here. There was only one category that I had on my budget from last month that I didn't have this month, and that's the clothing category. So other than that, everything else is the same. We'll try to do this together because I actually haven't done this one before. So I'll try to walk you guys with this. So now when we compare, we can just, it says to put the change in dollars. So I'm assuming that what you do is just look at how much you spent this month minus how much you spent the month before, just to figure out how much more you spent. So I'll do the green and the red and just keep that theme going. So this was $175.98. Let me move this over so you guys can see again. $175.98. Utilities $1797.61 minus $1742.47. Get positive $55.14 because we spent a little bit less. $440 minus $410. We did a little bit less on this one. So $110.73 minus 0.01. So positive 72. Oh, this category, y'all. I don't understand why we've been spending so much in just like spending. That's really like what we've got to get under control. So even though it wasn't as much as last month, it's still pretty much the same. Oh, 401.53 minus 75.42 to 26.11. 41.60. Oh, this is one thing that I can't compare. So I have subscriptions over here and savings over here. So this isn't gonna, that doesn't apply because this is two different categories. I don't know why I did that. I probably just wasn't paying attention, but I'm not going to count that subject or category, I mean. So the next one is school. And again, this one was so high because of my husband having to buy a new computer. So we did not spend as much. I'm sorry guys, my camera cut off and I didn't even realize it. I think I was somewhere on school. So I went ahead and finished writing it out and talking to you guys like you could hear me, but you couldn't. But most of our spending stayed positive, like less than the month before, which is good, but I still have to tackle this eating, which is all on me. I'm planning to do a lot better in the month of July and doing more meal planning so that we can eat at home, and even maybe just shopping and putting things in the freezer so that we have those meals in case I don't feel like cooking. I can just throw something in the oven real quick and not eat out, because that's really what that boils down to, is that we just ate out way too much this month. And then also just tackling that miscellaneous spending and trying to get that way lower this next month. So there's one other thing I wanted to show you guys, and that is our debt payment plan. We have our debt payment plan for the month of June. We have one bank card that has a balance of $11.77, one car loan that has a balance of $95.15, and one credit card that has a balance of $72.25. This number is so high because we had consolidated all of our credit cards to this one card to get a 0% interest rate, which we'll have for about another year. So a lot of people do the snowball method, which is great, and that means you tackle the lowest balance first and work your way up. We're probably going to do the avalanche method because I've done the math, and when you do the avalanche method, you end up saving money in the long run. The avalanche method, if you've never heard of it, is whenever you tackle debts based off of their interest rate. So you attack the highest interest rate first, and then you work your way down. Now, because this one will end up having a 20% interest rate by the end of the year, we will probably be attacking this one before the car, just because I don't want to have to pay 20% interest on $7,000. So we'll get to that when we get to it. But our minimum payments are $25 for one of our credit cards, $202 for our car, and $110 for our higher credit card, giving us a total of $337 minimum payment in debt that I could be using towards food or miscellaneous purchases. Just kidding. And our total debt balance is $17,917. Now, my husband and I do have student loans that we have not started tackling yet because we are both still in school. My husband will be graduating soon, and we will have to start paying back on his loans. So I will get to that when I get to it. But right now I can't think about it because it's a lot of money and it's stressful. So I'll share that with you guys when we start doing that. But I wanted to show you guys that we were able to make 2 extra debt payments this month to our first credit card that we have up here. We were not using the money that we didn't use all of the money that we planned on using for our vacation. So we were able to use that money and put it towards that credit card and pay off $539 to that balance. So now our balance is $1177 minus $539. Our balance now is $638 on that first credit card. So we have it almost paid off, relatively speaking. And I'm super excited about that. And it feels so good to be able to pay off some debt. And I wanted to share that progress with you guys. These numbers down here get a little bit confusing. So you take your total debt balance from last month, which was $18,222.50. And the total balance from this month, which is this number right here, the $17,917. And that's how it shows you your progress. So basically from last month to this month, I was able to make $305 in debt. Now next month, it will reflect this $876 because that's how much we were able to pay off this month. So these numbers get a little bit confusing. I'm not a big fan of how this is worked, but to be able to see that we paid $876 in debt this month is really, really awesome. And even though it doesn't reflect it in our expense tracker, I know how much we paid. And the reason it doesn't reflect is because this was in a savings account and I paid directly from our savings account to this credit card because it's all through the same bank. So it doesn't show it on our savings, but we were able to pay $876 for their debt this month, and I'm super excited about that. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me some comments down below. Let me know what kind of video you guys would like to see next. If you would like to see a debt video, or if there's another video that you've seen on another channel that you would like for me to do, please let me know in the comments below. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I hope that you'll stick around and make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!